Pakistan and India, which country is best? You tell me. Hey, hi and अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातहू। आप लोग देख रहे हैं मेरे YouTube चैनल मिस्टर इजाज। अगर आप लोगों ने अभी तक चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो प्लीज चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें, वीडियो को लाइक करें, शेयर करें और कमेंट्स करें। और आज ना एक कंपैरिजन वाली वीडियो पर रिएक्शन तो करेंगे, पर अपन कंपेयर नहीं करेंगे भाई। अपन लोगों को पता है कि कोई कंट्री बेहतर नहीं होती, यहाँ के लोग सेम है। पाकिस्तान इंडिया दोनों ये जगह वी हैव सेम लैंग्वेज, कल्चर एक जैसा, हम लोग देखने में भी एकदम सेम। हाँ जी, खून ही एक है। प्यार मोहब्बत बांटते हुए वीडियो बनाते हैं ना, तो फीलिंग बहुत ज्यादा प्यार वाली खुशनुमा आती है। और ऐसे खुशी के साथ जीवन बीत जाए ना, तो वही जीवन बेस्ट होता है, अल्टीमेट होता है। हमको ऐसी ही लाइफ जीनी चाहिए। और मैं मेरा प्रवचन बंद करता हूँ, वीडियो को चालू करना चाहता हूँ कि आई रियली वांट टू नाउ कि पूरे वर्ल्ड में इमेज क्या हमने पोर्ट्रे कर लिया है। इंटरनेशनल वीडियो है ये, एक्सक्लूसिव, लाइक नो एवर गोना दिस वीडियो। अंग्रेज जो है वो भी एक्साइटेड रहता है हमारे कल्चर को जानने के लिए कि यार इन लोगों के बीच में सचमुच दुश्मनी है। फिर मैं उन्हें बताता हूँ कि सुनो, देयर इज नो रिवेल इन बिटवीन पाकिस्तान एंड इंडिया, ओनली फ्रेंडशिप प्रिवेल। तो आइए व्यूअर वीडियो देखते हैं। Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success, Henry Ford. Wow, amazing. किधर का एरिया है?
Pakistan and India are two countries that aren't foreign to the large number of people who watch our videos. Both countries are rich with culture and have great pride unlike any other. Although stemming from the same origins, India and Pakistan are two separate nations with two completely separate identities now. Thank you guys once again for joining me on another episode of FT Facts. I'm Leroy Kenton, and I'm going to be exploring these two countries in a side-by-side comparison in this episode of which country is better. Now, the question I got to throw out there is, what country do you think is better, India or Pakistan? Pretty straightforward. Let me know down below. And don't forget to leave a like on this video. Okay, so let me begin exploring these two great countries. Let's look at the population first. So the population of Pakistan is 198,304,221. And the population density sits at 256 per square kilometer. India's population, on the other hand, is a lot larger. It's at 1,344,238,148. And India, of course, is the second most populated country in the entire world. Its population density is at 450 per square kilometer. Now, when it comes to land size, the land size of India is 3.287 million square kilometers, and that's about 1,269,219 square miles. Pakistan's land size sits at 796,095 square kilometers, which is roughly 307,774 square miles. Now, life expectancy in both countries are pretty similar. In India, the average age is 68.5 years, with males at 67.3 years and females at 69.8 years. The life expectancy in Pakistan is 67.7 years, males at 65.8 and females at 69.8. Now, in taking a look at the cultures of these two countries, so secularism in India refers to the equal treatment of all religions by the state, with the 42nd Amendment of the Constitution of India enacted in 1976. It asserted that India is a secular nation. However, neither India's constitution or its laws define the relationship between religion and state, whereas Pakistan is a Muslim state. India has around an 80% Hindu population, while Islam is a predominant religion in Pakistan, so much so that it has the second largest Muslim population in the world. Pakistan alone, which is 5 times smaller than India, has 300 dialects and languages. Now, this count in India is a lot more than 1,500. But for the official languages, the Constitution of India designates the official language of the government of India as Hindi, as well as English. And there is no national language in India. Pakistan's national language is Urdu, which along with English is also the official language. Now, in 2015, the government in Pakistan announced plans to actually make Urdu the sole official language and get rid of English as the second official language. When it comes to the dollars, the money of India and
Money.
Pakistan, Pakistan uses the Pakistani rupee and India uses the Indian rupee. The GDP at India sits at 9.489 trillion US dollars, and the GDP of Pakistan is at 1.060 trillion US dollars. And this is based on the purchasing power parity. When it comes to food now, India is a big place, of course, right? Now, it used to be even bigger, consisting of areas that are now Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Myanmar, which was formerly known as Burma. So the whole idea of Indian food is not necessarily 100% accurate, although the term Pakistani cuisine can also be pretty vague, considering that Pakistan didn't exist until 1947. But Pakistani cuisine can be considered, let's say, a subset of Indian cuisine. But like when you look at the subsets, it's pretty diverse with all the different spices and the ingredients. We don't see too much differences in terms of the food in India and Pakistan. But let's just take, for example, the kind of food that you would find cooking in a South Indian home. The dal, the resam, the sambars, etc. It's completely different from Pakistan's kebabs or the naans and curries and meats that are served in an Indian restaurant. But that's enough food talk for me. I'm kind of getting hungry. I'm probably going to chow down after this episode. But let's look at the militaries of these two countries. So currently, Pakistan's military is ranked 13th in the world. Pakistan's armed forces are made up by three different branches. We have the Pakistan Army, the Pakistan Air Force, and the Pakistan Navy. Now, the available manpower in Pakistan sits at 95 million people, and their total military personnel sits at 1,135,000. That includes active personnel, which is 620,000, and reserve personnel, which is 515,000 people. And the defense budget in Pakistan increased to $8.7 billion this year. Now, they're the sixth largest in the world in terms of active military personnel and the largest among Muslim countries. And this next one is huge. It's reported that Pakistan is the only Muslim majority country to possess nuclear weapons. Their military also has a special service group, which is known as the SSG. It's the primary special operations force of the Pakistan Army. Because the SSG go through a huge range of just intense training, in 2015, they were actually listed as the best special forces group in the entire world. Now looking at the military of India. So India has the third largest military in terms of active frontline personnel. But when we take a look at the total military power, they are ranked fourth on the global scale. The defense budget is way up to $53.5 billion. And actually, the Indian Ministry of Defense says India will need $233 billion to meet its military budget in 11 years. Now, there's something pretty cool I want to throw in here. In late 2016, India actually completed its nuclear triad by adding a strategic nuclear submarine, the INS Iron Hand, into its military. India has become one of the only countries to do so. And if you're unsure of what a nuclear triad is, well, pretty much it's the ability to launch nuclear warheads from land and from the sky as well as from the sea as well. When we look at the film industry, Lollywood is the oldest film industry of Pakistan, cinema, based in Lahore. But up until 2007, though, Lahore was the center of Pakistan cinema, producing films in both Punjabi and Urdu. However, since 2007, Karachi has overtaken Lahore in Urdu film productions. And for some of you, this may be the first time you're hearing the word Lollywood. So where did that name actually come from anyways? Well, it was coined back in 1989 by a gossip columnist named Salim Nasser, and he wrote for a glamour magazine that was published in Karachi. Now, Bollywood, of course, in India is only a part of the larger Indian cinema, also known as Indiewood. In 2016, Bollywood earned $2.4 billion, and they make up about 43% of the overall revenue coming from India's entire film industry. So India and Pakistan have shared and continue to share a very extremely turbulent historical relationship. The Indian subcontinent used to be ruled by the British Empire for almost 200 years. Some of you may know this, but when World War II ended, the British were in no position to continue their hold on the Indian subcontinent, and the British partitioned the Indian subcontinent into two separate nations, India and Pakistan. On August 14th, Pakistan became an independent country. However, there was really no correct way as how to actually divide the land. So there was a mix of Hindus and Muslims living in the land for generations. And this partition resulted in the loss of life on both sides. Almost 20 million people were displaced from their homes as well. It's been 70 years and these two countries continued to overcome various hurdles and now are recognized on the global scale in many different areas. It's always amazing to share and talk about these two great countries. Of course, there's much more to mention that I just couldn't fit in this episode. But this gave you a brief side-by-side comparison in which you can now form your own opinions and educate yourself a little bit more. Leave your comments below as well as any suggestions for future videos.
ओके आई रियली लव दिस वीडियो। बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट किया। और एक चीज मेंशन करना भूल गए कि पाकिस्तान और इंडिया के लोग बड़े जज्बाती होते हैं, हम लोग इमोशन से भरे होते हैं। अब देखिए, कभी पाकिस्तान, इंडिया, बांग्लादेश, बर्मा एक ही हुआ करते थे, हम सब लिटरली एक ही थे। पर ये गोरे शोरे जब आए, 200 साल तक हमारे ऊपर शासन किया और हमको डिवाइडेड करके ना इमोशन स्टेट में छोड़ दिया। तो हमारे दिल एक ही है। A lot in love to Pakistan and India in this video because I really want to do these things between these two countries। यार ऐसे सोचो कि एक ही नेशन है ना, हम सब लोग एक इंसान है और इंसान को प्यार चाहिए और हमारे दिलों में एक दूसरे के लिए भर भर के प्यार है। आज की वीडियो में बस इतना ही। शुक्रिया आपका इस वीडियो को देखने के लिए। आप अपना बहुत सारा ख्याल रखिएगा, दुआओं में याद रखिएगा और मिस्टर इजाज से मिलते रहिएगा। बाय बाय एंड अल्लाह हाफिज।